Another 30 seconds.
Get it to Mary. CIP. So it's what we're asking. These is the constant.
We good now?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, comes out that. Okay.
All right, it is 5:01. We had a few technical difficulties, but let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. You guys would take a look at the minutes from the last meeting, and let Adam know if there are any corrections that need to be made.
Make a motion to move, approve the minutes as presented.
All right, I have a motion to approve as presented. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Minutes will pass. Moving on to discussion items. We have discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding airport financials. Adam?
Yes, ma'am. In your packets, we have our typical reports, profit and loss statement. We'll start with the profit and loss and then go to the balance sheet. FBO inventory income, $130,394. Total income, after adding in fees, hangar rent, ground lease revenue as we're realizing those things, $185,763.96. Cost of goods sold, $82,597.86, leaving a gross profit $103,000. Expenses, total expense $84,000, leaving a net operating income for the month of August 2025 at $18,941.25. Other income for the period, interest $976 for bank interest, corporations $7,500. Grants from ALDOT, FAA $22,292 during the period. Airshow ticket income is $6,300 for the period of August. Airshow sponsor income $16,950, bringing our total other income to $54,018.09. Other expenses for the total here, we're looking at $76,937.60, bringing our net income to negative $3,978.26 for the period. Airport balance sheet, assets, current assets, bank account $586,477.89 at the end of the period. Accounts receivable $11,046.32. Inventory line item 125. We're looking at $52,384.86 at the end of the period. Total assets $16,815,445.76. I'll stand for any questions on financials seeking approval tonight.
Questions for Adam regarding the financials? All right, do we have any motions to approve the financials?
I move that we approve.
All right,
As presented.
we have a motion to approve as presented. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Airport financials have passed. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding airport projects. Adam?
So this is just an update on projects. I'll start with the Northwest. Our next phase of our apron, phase one of the apron side of things, we are looking at moving forward with that really soon. We've got the grant. The grant has been entered into the system, so all things are to go there. Previously discussed, we've made a motion to proceed with that project with the apparent low, which is Abramson. So that project is going to be taking place hopefully in the next couple of months as we work through paperwork. The Southeast project, going through all the different aspects of that development. We'll start with the taxiway. Last piece of the puzzle for the taxiway in the last month or so was moving 20,000 cubic yards of dirt that we had to get off the site to allow for the development of strategy. That has taken place. We've moved all of that dirt to fill in for the next wave of third-party development on the northwest side of the airport. And so that dirt is there, and that is going to be a tremendous asset. Instead of paying to move it off airport, we have just moved it on airport where we have the need. The sewer project, we are in the final days of wrapping that up. They just put up the chain link fence, so that means that all the testing has taken place. That means that the electrical has been completed, and the only thing now is to finish a small little access drive for maintenance vehicles over time to be able to access the site. The access road for the development as a whole has been completed. We had to walk through in the last month. We noted just every project having a few punch lists, but overall they did a great job there. Grayson Carter did. Grayson Carter is also doing a tremendous amount of dirt work. If you haven't paid attention to that, it is amazing how much dirt that they've moved in the last month. They've got I think it's close to $4 million just in dirt work that they're doing for the strategy hangar. Working with Fight has been a breeze, as well as Mr. John Jones on that project, and they're going to be a valuable asset here. That's all I have for airport projects. I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions for Adam?
When's the north taxiway gonna get torn?
We don't have a timeline yet, but we've heard from AlDOT, and they have given a clear indication of what they want to see. And we've had a introductory call with the contractor, and we'll be working with that after the air show to nail that down. So it will coincide with the next phase of the project. So essentially, October, November timeframe is when that's going to have to be started. And we do have pricing from another contractor to get that taken care of. So all those things have been finalized.
We're not paying, but
No, that we will not be paying.
Any other questions for Adam? All right. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible action for the 5-year airport capital improvement plan. Adam?
Yes, ma'am. So in your packet, you've got the typical annual CIP. So just for clarification purposes, we have to maintain at least $750,000 in needs in our CIP to qualify for our non-primary entitlements, which is $150,000 each year that we bank up and use for projects through the airport improvement program. Obviously here at Pryor, we've had a master plan that dates back to 2022, and we've been doing projects that follow those expansions and those things. And so really this CIP, there's only very few changes or additions and things based on funding from the last CIP. So I'm going to go through each of these here, and just for clarification, you have to put these projects on paper if you ever want to start getting funding for it. So discretionary funding coming from the FAA and state apportionment money from AlDOT usually is 3 to 4 years of programming. So if we said that, hey, we have to do X, Y, Z on the airport today, it's not going to be funded typically until 4 years down the flight path, right? So in 2026, we have our AIG Build Back Better funding coming for reimbursement. We've got so many years of this money that's paying our bank bond, our note for the Northwest Taxiway project. So you have that there. The AIP, the South Apron Rehabilitation Phase 1, we're showing that. This has been something that AlDOT has been, this is their number one project. This was something that was in 2027, trying to work with AlDOT on funding and phasing things. They are looking at pushing that up. So that is in the 2026. This would be the area that is basically from the maintenance hangar all the way down to the World War II area. So, basically it's going to be all the way down to that area of the apron. So the old concrete essentially for the phase one. We've got a fencing project on the east side of the airport. There are several hundred feet of fence that is missing. We have a lot of issues in the deer season of wildlife coming onto the airport, some coyotes and other things as well. Want to complete that. We need to complete that. We're phasing that, putting in here for AlDOT to basically say what they will or will not fund. Another one that based on our inspection report and the wonderful black algae that happens in the state of Alabama, our runway markings are in basically poor condition, so they need to be rejuvenated. Historically, we've had a terminal apron seal coat project, clean up a few safety issues as well. We've got lights that are out here too close. When they built the building, they put it adjacent to the apron, which is something historically we've had airplanes actually run into. So we're looking at that. We also need to redesign the taxiway center line coming into the terminal area, as it will lead you straight into the fuel shed that we built years ago. So that project is on here. We have a southeast development, the water line, which is one of the last pieces of the puzzle for the southeast development. This will come from Airport Road up the new access drive, and this will basically wrap up every need that is required for the strategy hangar facility. Bringing back land acquisition. We've had some land acquisition that we've tried to do for several years now for the Frisbee golf area of Calhoun, working with them to acquire that. There have been some pivots as far as some cashless trade-offs versus some ground leases, and they are working towards getting it surveyed and getting it appraised. And so there's a placeholder there based on some previous numbers that we've seen. For the Calhoun development for the A&P program, the Center of Excellence and GA hangars, we have in 2027 for planning purposes an AIP project to build out the ramp of that property, which is going to allow a lot of GA hangars to be built adjacent to it, allow access for Calhoun's A&P program if they are able to move and get funding to build that large 50,000 square foot facility that we talked about in the past. Also in 2027, working with Strategy, we have kind of stormed DC a little bit, so talking about some needs for an ARF facility, aviation, rescue, firefighting. We have got a lot of positive feedback, John Jones and I have, about getting direct spending appropriations for that facility. So we're planning for funding purposes of 2027. So that would flow, if that happens, that would go through the Urban Housing and Development direct spending bill. Hangar development, 2027. We've always carried this forward. I believe that with the land leases, with other streams of revenue, 2027 would be a great year to get a matching grant for AlDOT for a GA hangar facility. 2028, it kind of goes back to all the things that we've had on the list to build up the airport to meet the needs of some of the customers that we've met with us looking to bring some narrow body and wide body aircraft for maintenance. The largest is a 7.6 as of right now. So you've got South Apron, for the GA is the first one, South Apron phase 2. Then you've got drainage, runway 1836 for rehab strengthening to include the fillets so that you got that turn to take on those larger airplanes. And then again, we bumped it out a year, the approach lighting system and PAPIs for runway 18 so that we can give that ease of mind in inclement weather so they can come in and we won't lose aircraft to Huntsville. So with all that, the total cost of this is just slightly increased from the last 5-year CIP, which was close to 39 million of needs. This is 41 million in needs. The next document in your packet is a diagram that shows all the different projects, and you can see, based on the years of what that is and where those are on the airport. We also have in your packet, as it pertains to this line item, a resolution 0909-2025, which is the typical resolution that AlDOT asked to sign, saying that if the stars align, we get funding, then you basically allow the signature to take place to actually move forward with those projects. I'll stand for any questions.
The northeast property that the Pryors own that we were interested in. Why would that not be on here if it's 4 year out? Because if anybody buys that, it starts a neighborhood, then it's done.
Yeah,
And
You know-
we're pretty much full up on the east side.
you're right. That is an outlook of, that's about a $7 million haul. That'd be like a 2032. The Pryors are aware of that. The state, we had that as a local. So that, as it becomes more realistic, will fall into those local years, which is usually 1 or 2 years out. But I will gladly add that in there as a local for 2032 to keep it on everybody's radar.
I would like to have it added to our attention.
I'll get with
Like everybody's got to live somewhere, but they could build neighborhoods on the other side of it.
I completely agree.
Any other comments or questions?
So the ARC is new to me. I know you and I've talked about some equipment and stuff, but $6 million, but that wouldn't be from any other project. That wouldn't come from any other project. This would be funded by the Housing and Urban Development, right? So it's not gonna take away from anything, correct? Is that how I understand it?
That's correct. So if
So it's just
we,
an ask.
it's an ask. Yeah, we're putting it on everyone's radar by putting it in the CIP. And we'll be asking Katie Britt's office, which we already have had conversations with, and Dale Strong's office as well.
And a follow-on question is, who's gonna pay the fireman?
So basically, in short, we have some estimates for a third party. Basically, when this is built, it could be municipality that comes in, it could be part-time folks in-house from us. That's going to be basically 2027 project is when this is realizing as a project. It'd be 2 years after that before the building is occupied.
Who can write the check for the payroll? Is what I'm asking.
It would be a mixture of entities here as far as companies. It would be a mixture of potentially the industrial department, covering those things. I know that Carpenter is very adamant about those things and is willing to have conversations over those fire protection services of putting a pump on the truck essentially to cover those things. And then obviously whatever is there is going to be on the airport authority.
So it'd be on the airport authority.
That's correct.
So it'd be 24-hour firefighting is what you're asking, is what you're planning on? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, be 5 days a week. All those details aren't narrowed down just yet, but 5 days a week, 12 hours a day, essentially.
I mean, that seems like that's just the building too, right?
Yeah, this is just the building.
So fire trucks, another $2 or $3, $4 million.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. So this line item does include an ARF truck. Yes. So basically $2 million is factored into this. And just to clarify here.
I'm not trying to get in the weeds.
Yeah.
Who's paying for the payroll?
Yeah.
That's the big chunk, right?
That's right. Yeah. So those estimates there, which the total ask is actually going to be about 7.5 million.
I was just saying, that seemed a little light.
Any other questions for Adam? All right, Adam, you were looking for a motion to pass resolution 0909-2025, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Okay. All right, well, I will motion to approve resolution 0909-2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
We have one opposed, okay? All right, that resolution will pass. All right, moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the North Alabama Air Fest.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, catching up here from Ryan.
No, you're fine.
As previously mentioned a couple board meetings ago, we have worked with all of our vendors and some of our sponsors, specifically Pepsi, to be Pepsi is the preferred drink of the North Alabama Air Fest for 2025. And we've got a way to sell to the vendors. They've negotiated a price for us to have cases of Pepsi provided. We didn't factor this in, and so tonight I'm asking for a budget amendment of $8,620 to cover Pepsi and ice that will be sold to the vendors. So we already have the list, already have the commitment. The profit margin is $14 on the Pepsi products per case. In other words, we're making $14 over our price, and they will be purchasing those. And then ice will be making a $2 profit margin on bags of ice. So with that being said, basically, they're going to come starting tomorrow to pick up the product. They're going to pay for the product, and we're going to pay after the air show for the product that we use essentially, which is already spoken for. So we already know exactly what we're buying, and so this amendment will cover what we will buy from Pepsi and resell to the food vendors that will be.
So we are a pass-through.
We are pass-through, and we're getting a profit margin off.
And we already know what that profit is.
That's correct. Yeah, 14 per case of Pepsi at 262 cases of Pepsi product. And then ice, we're going to be getting 3,500 pounds of ice, where 1,000 of those pounds is actually us. And that's going to be realized in the budget that I had already set. But the overages for that, which is going to be about $950, is going to be sold to the vendors.
Move for the out of budget expense.
We have a motion to approve the out of budget expense. Do we have a second?
Also.
All right, John is seconding it. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, Adam, that is passed. All right. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding airport director employment contract. So, before I move completely into the contract, I personally want to give my thanks to Adam. Working with him over the past 2 years has been fantastic. He is one of the most dedicated employees that I have ever known. He literally eats, sleeps, and breathes Pryor Field, if you didn't already know that. And last month, he included in the board packet a list of the authority's accomplishments since he's been here. And I think that was up there. Some of you grabbed it. There's quite a few of you here, so you might share. But I wanted to read a couple of those to you. There's a lot on here, but between fiscal year 2021 and 2024, fuel sales have increased 59.5%. Fees have increased 732%. Monthly hangar rent has an 85% increase. We've added 4 new companies to Pryor Field since 2023 and 3 new ground leases since 2023. Since 2023, we've had more than $6.5 million in projects to date and more than $1.2 million in grants committed to Pryor Field for 2026. This list goes on, but I just wanted to highlight a few of the things on that list. I think most of those things speak for itself, that his leadership has fueled the growth here. So last month, the board gave me the responsibility of negotiating Adam's contract extension and balancing not only Adam's wants and needs, but also the very diverse perspectives of 5 board members was no small task. But I think we have come to an agreement that both protects Pryor and then also supports Adam in his continued leadership. So for those of you that saw the contract last month, I wanted to explain the changes that were made. First of all, the salary adjustments. There was some concern over the increase in Adam's salary. So I negotiated a stair-step structure that reduces the year 1 base salary by 20%, year 2 by 16%, year 3 by 12%, year 4 by 8%, in year 5 by 3% from the initial contract that was presented. And so over the 5-year term, that reduces the total proposed base salary by more than 11%, saving approximately $85,000. And just to put this into perspective, based on the Social Security Administration's cost of living adjustment, Adam's 2023 base salary of $110,000 would need to be $116,358 just to keep pace with inflation. The bonus structure. There was a request that the compensation increases be tied more to bonuses rather than solely base salary. So to address that, I included a $5,000 sign-on bonus for year 1 instead of an additional base salary jump to actually give him a raise in year 1 after adjusting for inflation to align with that request. And then the termination clause. I wanted to bring up a change to the contract that I previously sent by email. So this is brand new. You have not seen this yet. One request I received was to extend Adam's out clause to 180 days. So that requires 6 months notice if he chooses to leave during the contract time. And during negotiations, Adam did agree to that 100%. But after some discussion with my personal entity, I revised that clause back to 90 days because while 180-day notice would give Pryor more transition time, it also creates some other concerns. It wouldn't be fair to Adam if he received a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I would want him to be able to pursue that without being restricted by an overly restrictive clause in the contract. And also, if he did plan to leave, keeping him here for 6 months just to serve out a notice period, I don't think would do anyone any favors, and it wouldn't benefit the airport. And while I trust Adam and his dedication, forcing an employee to stay in a role that they are ready to leave or want to leave seems to harm Pryor more than it helps it. So those are the things that I wanted to point out that I had kind of changed. I think this contract is more cost effective than the first one. And it also is still fair and appealing to him. And it secures our leadership for the next 5 years. So I am proud to put this contract forward, and I motion that we approve Adam's revised contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second. Do we have any discussion? I did want to, if there's no other discussion, I did want to read a quick email from Roger. He just wanted me to say, said he has one comment that he's a no on any pay raise for Adam at this time. Couldn't be here today, but he wanted to make sure that was known. Any other comments?
I don't like the 5-year term, and when I vote no, it's not because I'm not a supportive of Adam's work ethic. It's because I don't like the contract. So it's not a personal thing. Okay.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? One opposed. All right, Adam, your employment contract has passed. All right. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding airport signage. So over Labor Day weekend, last weekend, we had an email, John, that this sign was posted outside, that you believe that it violated the First Amendment rights. So, I wanted to bring our lawyer in to discuss and make sure that this was an appropriate sign to be placed outside.
May I finish my concerns?
Sure.
Since, it's not just a First Amendment, it's the fact that it's a public airport. It's the fact that it displays an implied rule from Decatur Airport that I don't know of. And I looked at our rule book, and the board has not acted any rules that say that photography is not allowed. In fact, some of the people in this room have reminded me over the years that photography is allowed at the airport because there was a camera stuck here on the table at every meeting. And, I grew to accept that. But that's a public ramp. It can be accessed by the public. There are actually picnic tables out here. So this, because we have one person that wants to come here and not get their picture taken, I feel like it's inappropriate. And it's not just a First Amendment, it's an airport rule and it's a public building.
I do want to, and Adam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll speak to this. From my understanding, there was military that was coming here that, it was not a secret issue, but it was a sensitive, is that the word you used? And there was some photography taken, and in order to get them to come back to the airport, they requested that the sign be put out so that they could return to the airport. Is that correct, Adam?
That's correct. In 2022, we got a call from Fort Campbell with some military assets that operated over the city of Athens and over the city of Decatur. They've been back several times since then, and this one aircraft in particular is a UH-60. It is a Special Forces model that's got a very unique livery. They were very adamant, called beforehand, and wanted to make sure that the ramp was going to be some behind secure areas, and it was actually not requested of the sign until they got boots on ground, where the point of contact requested to make sure that the folks do not come through the area without proper permission to take photographs of it. It's not just them. As far as folks, we've had a very prominent company, several of them, and over I guess the last several years that I've been here. They don't want, their end numbers taken. They don't want, I mean, some of them have blocked tail numbers. They have all kinds of other things so that their business doesn't get out there. There's plenty of means and methods of contacting this or getting this contact information of whatever entity it is and seeing how they move. But it's the blessing of Pryor, and the way that I see it is we are out of the limelight a little bit here versus Huntsville International. We have folks like Jeff Bezos and other people that fly in, and what's always, kind of touted and talked about is the fact that we are a hidden gem and that they can get in and out without having a crowd around them, essentially. And so this was a no-brainer for me to put this up as, the special forces, coming in and doing stuff for us is very good for business. Just specifically this group, over the last, I believe it was July 1 till, recently, there's almost $69,000 in revenue just from this one entity. And back in 2022, when they come here, they spent almost $100,000 with it. So they flew a little bit longer. The airport was created and enacted just like the interstate system for national security. That's part of our grant assurances. There's certain provisions about the military. We can't feed them. We can't do things like that. So there's certain things about government air card and other things that we have to abide by. And so that was simply the sign. Obviously, we are a publicly funded airport with secure areas. And the way that I see it is, in my role as the director here, is for the safety and security of the airport. So I put up the sign because of that. I've had zero issues with the sign, but understanding the message, I went and took it down. But obviously,
And
still,
you're gonna quit there. So that's what we're talking.
yeah. So if they come
To
back,
be clear, I'm not berating you over taking it down. It's just, you're saying you're gonna put it back up. So
yes,
We need to talk about it.
absolutely. And,
And that's why I asked Jimmy.
with the ramp, I mean, to the point, yes, we do have picnic tables, for pilots and CFIs and other things. We are a secure area. There are signs of, throughout the airport, authorized personnel only, no enter without trespassing and things like that, without it being trespassing. So, it is a publicly funded facility. The terminal is open to the public. But going inside, I mean, we have now, because of safety issues and other things that have happened at the airport, you have to be buzzed out like other FBOs. We have a Church of Christ preacher that comes out often and takes photos of airplanes. And how this works, I mean, it's just fine for certain ones, but other ones, they don't want to be their picture taken at all. They don't even want to know people are here doing business because they may be in negotiations and it comes into economic development concerns. I mean, we have even companies from Limestone EDA that have worked out things and they're coming to see sites, but we have NDA signed. We don't need things. So it's not just the military, it is other companies. And it is something that, you know, for everybody's safety and national security, even in this case, that is the reason why the sign was erected.
First off, if it's national security, they need to be in a prohibited area or restricted area in the military field. Second off, the interstate system, I'm glad you brought that up. It's a very good point. The interstate system, you're not allowed to, it has limited access to the interstate. It's public road. But you have to qualify to be on the interstate. You have to be in a car and you have to be able to go so fast. You can't take pictures on the interstate on foot because you can't be out there on foot. But if you're in a car, you can. Now, I'm not trying to be some fanatical about First Amendment. I'm not a First Amendment auditor, but we are gonna get a First Amendment auditor. And I don't know even know what that is or not, but they walk around in public buildings and they take pictures. Now, as I understand the rule about public buildings is you can take pictures in public buildings in public areas that you would have any other right to be in. You can't harass people. You can't do voyeuristic pictures. You can't do upskirts. You can't take pictures of people's kids. You can't take pictures of TSA security points or security stations at a courthouse. You can take pictures at a police station in the front in the publicly accessed areas, but that is, and they're 3 feet from it is the fence that we certainly can't control. So if the helicopter out here on the ramp is the security issue, then I would suggest put it down by North Alabama Aviation or FTR's hangar on that ramp just south of them. You can't take a picture down there. There's no fence. There's no way down there. As far as the people coming in here with corporate airplanes, they have blocked tail numbers. It's just a happen chance that somebody takes a picture of a jet that they don't want. Hell, Roger and I flew his T-28 one day and ended up on the front page of the Decatur Daily. I don't know who took a picture of it or wrote the article about it. I don't even like to get my picture taken, but I don't have any choice. When you come fly at a public airport, then you subject yourself to being taken a picture of. It's like being on a public boat ramp.
Mr. Powell?
Can we ask airport council?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't researched this specifically.
That's why I was jacking so much. I thought you might want to hear what I did this research.
I did not. But I will expect to, like, as I understand it, you don't have any objection to anything outside of the fence.
That's correct. I mean, people stop inside or outside the fence, Huntsville
In the
National.
public areas, you have no objection.
That's correct.
So I think that, so you're not prohibiting public anything. You're prohibiting, once they go inside your private area, that they can't.
If I'm in my airplane on that ramp, he can't restrict me from taking a picture, as I understand the rule. But that's not what his sign says, and it's not an airport rule. We've never made a rule about that.
Perhaps you should.
Maybe, but I don't know how you're gonna tell somebody that they can't taxi by in an airplane and take a picture of the terminal building. Cause as far as what I've researched and the attorneys I've asked. And I did ask you, but I haven't gotten an answer. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I usually know the answer before I ask a question. I learned that from you guys. So I did ask several people and they're like, oh no, if you can be on the interstate, then you can take a picture. Now it's how you get on the interstate. If you're in a car, you can take a picture. You can't walk on the interstate with a camera and take a picture of a tractor trailer because you're causing harm to them. They have to swerve to get out of your way, right? Or you're presenting themselves up to harm. But if you would otherwise be legally allowed to be there, then I can't find any federal restriction at an airport. And I've looked. And I'm not trying. I know these guys. They came over to me when I was working on the T-28 when they first came and said, hey, do you mind not taking any pictures of us? And I said, not a problem. I don't like my picture being taken. And I even took one of them for a ride in the T-28. They drew straws. It's the same group. It's like last year and a half ago. They're great guys. I have no problem with them wanting to be, but if it is national security, then they really don't need to be on public ramp. It's not, I mean, I hate to say it, but put them down the ramp.
You know,
I'm not against what you're trying to do. I just don't think that's the way to do it.
that is a very common practice with the military.
We're not the military.
I'm talking about the military coming into a public base particularly Fort Campbell. There's a lot of things go up there. And they don't want to be photographed. And they were asked if they could have security when they bring certain things on the field. And if you decline their request, they're probably not gonna, they're not gonna be very happy.
And they can't
And
even
not-
ask,
and they're not gonna understand.
well, and to this point, one, you get a Title 13 complaint, over not allowing them to come in. They do come with security. Someone literally spends the night here in the terminal, and they do patrols every 30 minutes to the aircraft. In this case, obviously, they've been here, I think 5 times since I've been here in various aircraft. And, but it's not just the military, it's literally everyone. We had an updated headshot out here, and the company is it's the largest manufacturing, it's the building in the background. So it's authorized picture being taken, and it's checks and balances and things. But they just saw that and commented and just said, and the sign was up there at this point in time. Hey, just so that they're aware, don't flip them around. This is the largest chicken plant or second largest in the country that flies in here, and they don't want their jets knowing that they're on our ramp, or the public knowing that their jets are on the ramp. And so, that is easy to me. It's a business decision that makes business sense to be able to do those things. At the time that the sign was created, we did not have the mag locks on the door. So public cannot even get through this area anymore to that. So the sign was in place, basically stating that, hey, if you somehow get by the front desk because of whatever reason, in this case, we actually had one this past summer. They said, oh yeah, I know the pilots, and they're like, okay, yeah, and then went on the ramp and started taking pictures. And essentially a staff sergeant come out and said, no, delete them. And pointed to the sign. And it's like, you got through because you used to know somebody that worked at the company, but now you can't even get out there without being escorted by a pilot or us knowing who you are and have a reason to go out there. And so the sign being there is just simply saying that, hey, unless you come and gotten permission to take pictures of the assets sitting there, don't do it.
I have a suggestion. I think make it everybody, why don't we just leave the sign down? They're not here this week. They're not here next week, right? We know.
That's correct.
And let Jimmy find the answer. Is that fair?
That's fair.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Well, then there's
You wanna-
nothing else to discuss.
You wanna table it?
There's no motion.
I'm just making
There's
sure.
nothing to table.
I understand. I'm just making sure that's what you're
That,
requesting.
it was my suggestion to do this. So that's what I'm asking Jimmy. Why don't we just give him a week or so, and the next meeting we can do something?
Yeah, and that's.
And maybe we do the right thing. I'm not saying I'm not saying the idea is wrong. I'm just saying that I don't know that it's legal. And I think that's a fair concern.
Yeah.
Would you? Okay, thank you for saying that, because I've been kind of given a little grief by asking the question. There, now I'm done. Thank you.
I have a question. Do we have the right to trespass anybody from a security side of the airfield? Do we have the right as an entity to trespass somebody from a private or security side of the airfield?
Trespass.
Trespass,
Parts then.
remove them where they
Yeah.
can't come back.
Yes. Yeah. But if the trespass.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
If somebody's here as a guest to somebody with an airplane, we don't, do we? Unless they're doing something nefarious.
Well, they wouldn't be trespassing.
That's what I'm saying. But if the board thinks they're a trespasser, but one of our tenants says, oh no, Joe Blow is a friend of Terrence McCall's, and Terrence is waiting to give him a ride in his plane, we can't accuse them of being a trespasser. Anybody can invite somebody onto this property, right?
Any other comments?
So we don't have a rule against pooping in the middle of the ramp out here.
And read the rule, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I mean,
there are
if-
other,
If we're gonna pick nits about that kind of stuff, I mean, really,
there's
and the
decency rules in the state over that.
the rules that you're searching for, and they are established, is the same rules that cover not taking pictures of the TSA. anything that's considered security sensitive is covered. So security protection assets, I mean, there's all sorts of legal language that go around this. Now, whether or not the sign needs to be up or not, I just think it's kind of a good business practice, like echoing what Adam is saying, is when somebody's not here, and if we get a First Amendment auditor show up, okay, so what? They can't go through the door, so they can take pictures for their heart's content from the fence. But anybody that's on airside really should follow the request of the airport or please exit.
The information I found at other airports, and I've only worked at a couple of hundred of them in the 41 years of being an airline pilot, is the only rules at airports is you can't take pictures voyeuristic, you can't shove a camera in somebody's face, and you can't take a picture of a TSA checkpoint, a security checkpoint. You can take pictures anywhere else in the terminal. You can take pictures at any other airport unless it's a military field. And then you do have restrictions. You even have restrictions at a joint civilian military field, but not in a civilian airport. And that's the limited experience that I have in my.
Future Pryor field could very well be to where we are somewhat of a joint facility. And having more and more military, especially with government contracts, that could be the future.
I want here.
As far as standard practice, it is standard practice. And I can speak to a local airport that we all fly to, that the lady at the front desk will come after you if you try to go and take pictures on the ramp. And that's from experience from our local photographer and aviation enthusiast that takes pictures here on aircraft that he's given permission to take photos of. I literally have text messages this morning asking to come take pictures of jet, and I told him no because of who it was, the sensitive side of things. And he's understanding of that because those people are brand new to this area. They don't want people to know that they're here. And so to me, that's just business practice. Industry standard, I think, Jimmy, I think it's good for you to research it, and I think you'll find out that there's a lot of airports that will not allow people through the doors of the FBO to go photograph the people that they're hoping to do business with.
And that's different than taking.
Chairman.
All right, let's go ahead and move on since this is tabled for the next meeting. So let's move on to reports. Airport director's report. Adam?
Yes, ma'am. So we've got a great story to tell here about some different numbers. I'll dive into it. Jet A sales for the month of August, 22,148 gallons, comparing to August of 2024 at 20,000. A month prior, we sold 33,000 gallons of Jet A. Our annual total year to date, 252,358 gallons. Avgas, we sold 5,419.9 gallons in the month of August, comparing to August 2024, where we only sold 4,555 gallons. Month prior, we sold 4,880 gallons. Our annual year to date is 44,873.71 gallons for the year to date. FBO operations by the numbers. Hangar rent, $37,758.93. I just want to point out some of the stats that were brought earlier. This time last year in 24, our monthly average for hangar rent was somewhere between 22 to 24,000. And we are at averaging 37 to 39,000 hangar rent monthly now without increasing a single tenant's rate, which is, I think, amazing. So that means that we've got new corporate partners here, is what that essentially means. So new businesses spending a tremendous amount of money here, doing a lot of work. Fees, we're at $15,386 in fees. Concessions, we sold $140.25 of concessions. Gross profit margin on fuel, 37.42%. Cost of goods sold has come out to be $81,590. Our profit for jet fuel, $101K. Avgas is $28K. Vertile report, I'll just point out some of the numbers for the month of August. 1,682 dividing that out or breaking that out, if you will, into the different class of aircraft. Single engine, 1,373 operations, single engine turbine, 62, multi-engine, 65, multi-engine turbine, 59. The most impressive one to me, the business jet, 79. Military helicopters, 9, military, which is going to be a mixture of certain types of rotor wing that Vertower picks, but then also fixed wing at 17. Helicopter operations, 18. I can tell you that that is obviously not the case, as Air Evac usually averages somewhere between 50 and 60 operations a month. And we don't catch those in the geofencing because of where their helipad is. Some of the breakout as far as the business jets, I touch on that. The largest that we're looking at, Gulfstream 280. We had 10 operations from there, multiple citations, and obviously turboprops. We've had a tremendous amount of various turboprops, with the majority being King Air 350s. Public involvement. Obviously, we're out in the community each and every week, doing something, sharing the message of Pryor Field. We attended as a speaker and as a booth for the State of Manufacturing in Hartselle. The chamber invited me to come and speak specifically to the transportation side of things, air cargo side of things, as we do see a tremendous amount of that historically. We attended Partners in Education, State of the State, and Governor Ivey giving an update at the Veterans Museum in Athens. North Alabama Air Fest, just give an update. And this is the really important part of my spiel here. We are getting packets together. You've probably gotten an email as tenants from me about armbands. I just want to clarify a few things, and I'm obviously going to be answering questions between now and Friday. But between the fuel system to FT Air's maintenance hangar is the hot ramp, which is zero access for anyone outside of those that are authorized to be in that area. So this is going to be the performers. This is going to be staff that is authorized to be there. This is also going to be any contractors that we have, like the CAF marshaling detachment that's coming to help. That area is just, unfortunately, tenants aren't allowed to be in that area. The very south end of the airport, though, the south gate, the southern gate through Flightline Road is accessible for you all. I know there's a handful of tenants that are going to want to go and sit at their hangars and watch things down there. You can't pass the basically where the show line is going to be invisible, because I'm not spending another 10K to get fencing and go all the way down there. However, that is accessible to you all. We are asking for you to turn in your tickets and get an armband if you're going to be in this area. And the reason behind that is I want to be able to give the board and everybody a solid update in October of how many folks that we actually saw at the North Alabama Air Fest. And so we're going to take those tickets, and day of, because our scanners are coming in with our ticket folks, we're going to scan those for you. So you're going to have a very specific tenant-only armband, and we have those at the front desk for you. We have participated in numerous interviews over the last 2 days. This is Tennessee Valley Living, this is Channel 19, this is several radio stations doing basically podcasts and recording, some live, some pre-recorded for later this week to be able to show or tell the message of what's coming up this weekend. So we've been doing a tremendous amount of that. As far as website page views, we are north of 25,000 as far as those looking at tickets. We've sold year to date over 2,500 tickets. Comparing this to 2023, the starting of the week, which this is what this number is, starting the week prior to the air show, we were less than 700 tickets in 2023. So when you compare that to where we are now and what we're expecting to see, it is going to be a sold out event, if you ask me. I really do believe that. And as far as the engagement and what we expect to see, we're going to sell most of our tickets day of at the gate. So a lot of people aren't buying until they actually show up. So that's going to be great to see all those numbers here. Some of the other numbers that we've pulled as of today, we're reaching over 17 different states, 2 different countries. We have folks coming from Canada. We have folks coming from Scotland, to the North Alabama Air Fest that have purchased tickets. Basically, our map through the website that we use for ticketing, it shows us a geographical location of everyone. We now are coast to coast as far as people attending. We have California, we have Oregon, we have New York, we have people coming all the way, Pennsylvania as well, 17 different states coming to North Alabama. And so as far as hotel stays, the majority is going to Athens this year. We have most of our performers, Army Golden Knights, they're already boots on ground right now. They are staying in Athens hotels, and we have some folks staying in Decatur hotels already tonight. So we're going to have at least 209 hotel stays for the performers and all the things coming through the North Alabama Air Fest. But outside of that, we have folks that are looking at bringing in RVs. We have people that are coming in, taking advantage of block rates that we have set up with hotels. And so this is going to be a great opportunity to showcase why North Alabama is so great. We have over 57 vendors as of this morning. Since I've been sitting here, I've gotten 2 emails for vendors requesting to be a part of it. But that cutoff has happened. 57 of our closest friends and flavors are coming to the North Alabama Air Fest. And some of these people have multiple booths that they're going to be setting up. Prime example, Lemonade is going to have 7 stands. Slim Chickens, being exclusive fried chicken provider of the North Alabama Air Fest, will have 2. So naturally, we're over 60 when you come to total stands. Ticket sales, which is today actually $36,500 in ticket sales. $1,042 of this is donations. When y'all approved the budget, you approved us to be able to give out some give back to some of the aviation programs. One of those is Athens Public Schools. The night before, we're going to present them with some of the funding through the approved budget to be able to buy flight simulators for the new public program they have through AOPA that we help facilitate and get into the Athens Public Schools. They've been out here flying airplanes. They have studied industry, and they are looking at partnering with Calhoun currently for the A&P program. So, that as an example of funding is a no-brainer, and that's going to help that school system. Sponsor income year to date is $157,928.33. Our total sponsorships we have several in kind is actually a little over 250K. So we have a lot of folks donating several things that have value to it. As an example, we got Marco's Pizza that's going to be delivering food for the performers and everything on Sunday. So that's an example of what an in-kind could be. So 157,000 air show expense year to date, $84,603.69. Obviously, there's some expense that haven't been realized yet because I haven't spent the money yet. So prime example, United Rentals is coming with bicycle rack fence, tent fence, bathrooms, and other things. We're going to have those bills sometime after the air show. But as it sits today, I wanted to give an outlook that the North Alabama Air Fest is going to be extremely profitable. And we are going to be working with several of our folks, the helicopter rides, airplane rides, obviously some of the food vendors that chose to do profit sharing over a flat rate fee. We're going to be getting a lot of other sponsorships, if you will, or revenue from the vendors as they have success, which is going to be great for us as well. The overall takeaway from not only the performers, but also the food vendors and other exhibitors has been extremely positive. The best that I've received is actually from some of the performers, saying that we are well ahead of several other air shows as they've landed and didn't even have information, but yet we are making contact with those that we need things from, and they are all appreciating that. I think this is going to be great for future air shows, more specifically because the president of the International Council, that's my alarm to stop talking. The president of ICAS is actually going to be here, this previous president, Nathan Hammond, Skyrider. And so being able to have a hospitality mentality, if you will, of welcoming them and making sure they're taken care of is going to spread to others and hopefully some of the military assets. We do have, like I said, the Army Gold Knights. We've got the F-35s lined up. And you know, all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. So I wanted to share that. New developments, blanketed statement, a lot of economic development. You know, something that was said of a board member is that, you know, the rush is going to happen. Well, the rush has happened. We've got meetings all the way right before the air show. And even during the air show, there's going to be some meetings that take place to introduce some of the EDA team and make sure that everybody is know who to call, tax abatement wise and all things, as there's other facilities that are in the works. And that's where I'll leave that. I'll stand for any questions from my report.
Any questions for Adam?
I'd like to make a comment before the public, comments, if you don't mind. I'd like to recognize Mayor Ronnie Marks. He came out tonight and sitting right there in the audience. Thank you very much for your support of the airport.
Absolutely. Anything else? All right, moving on to public comments. Any public comments?
I'd like to make one. I'd like to congratulate, the airport board manager, and each of the board members for renewing Adam's contract. Did a great job here at the airport, managing, this facility. I'm at attempts, I'm very pleased with the way things go, and, requiring your support again. And, I'm very grateful for that. Each of them. I also would like to say in regards to the air show, I'm very excited about that. And it's a place of exclusive place where you can get weekend passes. I've seen uptick in people stopping by to scan the QR codes at both my businesses, and that's promising. And I'm happy to report that that news to the board as well as Adam. So excited about all of that. So in appreciation of everybody showing up tonight. There's sandwiches and dessert and the lunchroom up there. So if you stop by and grab a sandwich and maybe give your appreciation to Adam and to the board members for all of their hard and diligent work throughout the year. Thanks for being. Thank you, Mr. Fox, for being and said so thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing snacks as well. That seems to be the key for a big turnout of snacks. I've noticed that. Any other public comments?
Yes. As a business tenant here, works for a company that is heavily reliant on marketing, community involvement, public relations, things like that. I have concerns as to how any type of photography restriction would be applied. We bring groups in, they often want their picture made with our aircraft sitting out here on the field. And any restriction of that would be very concerning with me as a businesswoman. So I just like the board's consideration that should this move forward, there are some very definite guidelines that will put in place.
From my understanding, it would only be for, not for your own aircraft, but that would definitely be something that we will consider.
We have people use our plane. My wife's here all the time. We have, as a matter of fact, we had an Athens Public School folks take senior photos with it, photography in Athens. It happens all the time. Again, not to beat a dead horse. If it's your airplane, you take as many photos as you want, however you want. I'll help you do it. But the airplanes that don't need to be photographed, if you're going to go take a picture of something, you need to say, hey, do I have permission to do that, especially on this ramp? Those people that have access down there have been guided in by somebody that does have permission to do it. So, but yeah.
We're gonna get an answer.
Absolutely.
I want to bring up one question. What was the signage?
It's right there.
It was on air side right here.
Okay. All right, I didn't see it.
Any other public comments?
It's the fact that it's been out there for
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
One of them, what if any is going on with, since I'm a lowly, community hangar guy? What's going on with community hangars? Improvements, sealing up holes and, stuff falling from ceilings that was always on my wings, things like that. Any thoughts on it?
Yeah, so we have researched this. We basically have come to the conclusion that a lot of the trash that happens is leaving the doors open. And depending on how busy we are, it's almost impossible to close a 1941 hangar doors constantly. Matter of fact, the more you do it, we actually pop them off the track. So then we have to get creative with a little southern ingenuity to go and fix them. And we've shared that, but basically, we have to do a very good job of keeping things clean in there. It could use some sandblasting. We're gonna have to gut everybody out of the hangar and you're gonna have to go find a home and it's gonna be very costly. So the biggest thing is it's not falling unless it's a very bad storm and rattling. And we have come behind storms and we realize those things. For the most part, if we keep the things off the ground and we come in and we've cleaned up a lot of stuff, that has slowed down from what I've gathered. And so we're just going to continuously do that for now until we can get in and do a major project in there. They are historic markers. They're always going to be with us and they're a tremendous asset as I believe the number is 25 plus airplanes that live amongst the two World War II hangars. So we're working towards a solution.
Coming from a company that's looking to be here. I'd like to thank the board for seeing the vision of Adam Fox and keeping him on board.
Thanks, sir.
Anyone else? All right. Next board meeting is gonna be October 14th at 5. Do we have any motions to adjourn?
I mean,
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed?
Yes, sir.
607, that's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. Yeah. And I'm like.
Thank you for your support.
For the first time. Was that an accident? No, there was a sign out there. Yeah.
I'll go back and give you an A. No, I'm joking.
Especially when you say you. I took 2 seconds. See this. We have
Yeah.
That's just literally right there, a very invitation. You know what it is? Yeah. I just need it sealed, that's what I need. How they've worded it and everything, so I just need it sealed.
He was asked, I said. I'm sure.
For enough, sorry, to be sunset.
Well, okay.
It's like, while they're working, you know, they can be doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Hey, man, thank you. See you. Take care. Yep. I'll be sending you some tickets. Yeah. Next year. Thank you. So. Tax system. That has all been streamlined. I don't know how to do this. Long story short.
I did, yeah, that was it.
Well, that's one of my life is here in. It's like.
I mean, we
should be solved.
Waiting so many different people.
Well, I just, oh, well, yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be.
Very dedicated.
Man, you picked a small one to come to.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
You're busy.
It really is. We love it.
My mom just.
I looked down and I was like, yeah, but he said, I swell first. Yes, it's gonna be good. Thank you. Yep, yep. You're gonna get an email with QR.
Okay, I didn't get you.
She's gonna fix it.
Okay, thank you. We'll see.
Thanks, Mel and I, we're over there catching up on emails. So it's getting midnight, we're.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I appreciate you.
I took a picture of it.
We're not that far. So there's gonna be big.
No, I didn't. That's what I checked. That's working.
No, we got immediately after the, yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I would think like Bill session with all that.
I was like, and
Those dollars sitting down in there.
Oh, well, I'm not doing that.
Don't need, like, sorry about that. Sorry. That's what I didn't even. I thought you wanted to work. And so, yeah, that's. We're all trying to say. So we have.
Right, is that the correct?
She called me and then.
That's it.
Okay.
No,
All right, I'm gonna read them.
Finally, I'll start it back. This is a mistake here, and it can wait till the next board meeting.
I can see.
Hi, thank you. Appreciate you. So, yeah. Hey, have you gotten Friday night still? Okay, I'll see you. Hold on, I gotta go check this out. I'll be back.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, what I can do.
It's all semantics.
So what I'll do,